So we are reading At the Dark End of the Street, Black Women, Rape and Resistance, A New History of the Civil Rights Movement from Rosa Parks to the Rise of Black Power by Danielle McGuire. And our sessions it started June 3rd and they last until July 29th. They are from 6:30 to 8. So do you think that the history of sexual violence coming from white men in power has something to do with Black women distrust of authority figures, particularly police officers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, as I mentioned earlier, the sheriff knew who the perps were.
Right.
They admitted it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and ultimately none of this led to conviction. They did eventually arrest them, and there was a trial, but none of it led to a conviction.
Right.
So yeah, we don't have much in our history that would make us think of the police or authority figures as sources of justice or fairness or safety, you know, or any of that.
Right. I asked that question because it just made me think of for my IS. I looked at how, which is a senior project that all seniors have to do. I chose to look at how lynchings provoked internalized racism, and what the constant rejection, death did to our psyche. And so books like this and history like this make me realize how much we have internalized, not just distrust for police, but anti-blackness blacks have.
Right.
And just the difference between being one of those black people and being like, not, and the our colorism issues that come up. And it just made me really think about how a lot of stuff don't leave us, even if we don't know. Like, I didn't know the history of the sexual violence and how rampant it was. Obviously it was, but I had no idea that there was something there for me to learn. But
Right.
Either way, I've internalized that fear of police anyway, and that fear of white men anyway, or just men in general as a woman. And so it really stuck out to me how something carry on with us, even if we don't remember why.
Right. Because it's in our bones.
Right. And our grandparents pass it down, and like to keep us from playing in the front yard. My grandmother used to tell us KKK would come and get us if we didn't stay in the back. I didn't know what KKK was, but she was referencing a few, years ago when all the children in Atlanta were murdered, and they blamed, I think they like convicted this black man, but nobody in the neighborhood believed it was the black. They knew it was KKK. They just knew it was, and my grandmother used that history to keep us in the backyard. And so little things like that stuck with us, and it just made me. That's why I wanted to ask that question, pose that question.
Yeah, and as much as I know, I still don't have good sense. As you were talking, I was remembering an experience a couple of summers ago. I was staying with a friend down on the eastern shore of Maryland, and I had gone out for a long walk on a hot summer day, and as I was on my way back to her house, a white man in a black SUV pulled over and asked me if I wanted a lift. Now I'm about to pass out from the heat. I don't have any more water. I just wanted to get home. And yes, I'm ashamed to say, I took the ride. And it was fine. He dropped me off. There was no problem. But boy, did my girlfriend and her boyfriend give me hell.
Right.
After that, I hear all about the KKK's history on the Eastern Shore of Maryland and all that could have happened to me. But yeah, we've got this fear that we live with, and we don't even always know where it comes from.
I think I'm like talking about it now. I'm realizing my own fear of traveling within the United States, and I think part of it has to do with the history of white supremacy and how they've treated people of color, Black African Americans. And that could be one of my fear of, going to a city where, people still have the share these same ideologies of white supremacy and have to be safe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's making sense now why I haven't, taken the initiative to travel. I've always traveled outside of the United States because of, the history of our people. It seemed like there's a positive history when they travel or their experiences in other countries. It's always positive, not within
the U.S. Yeah, and that was one of the things shocking to me about when Recy Taylor got picked up. Recy Taylor was 24 years old. She was with her 61-year-old female friend and the friend's 18-year-old son. They left church around midnight and were walking down a dark country road. And I don't know, I guess you did things like that down south in, what was it, 1944?
Yep.
But that to me was shocking. I mean, I can't imagine being on a dark road, dark country road now, in this day and age.